Hello guys, and welcome to another track guide video, and this is Watkins Glen, and this is the online lap challenge. So I'll just try to do what I usually do, explain all of the things on the track. So the goal of this challenge is to get the gold and eventually to get 2 million credits. I think most of you are aiming for 2 million credits, but eventually coming into 12s, it's pretty hard thing to do, but I think 13s, what I achieved in this video, is not so hard. So without further ado, let's get going. Let's get going with this track guide, and the first thing, I usually say something in the intro of the video, and this is you really have to be careful on how you apply the throttle. But here, just before the 400, I don't think it's a 400 meter mark, but it's a 400 mark, you just start braking, and as you passed the last point or the 100 sign, this is where you turn in. So just to make it a little bit easier, I do tend to kind of get on 50% of the power and stay there until kind of I straighten up the car and then go flat out. End of the curb is another reference that you can use where you can just start turning in and lift off a little bit. So it's quite interesting to kind of try to understand this car, because it feels like it's sticky at one point. It can, it can eventually get a lot of grip on the track, but if you put a little bit of throttle down, 5 or 10% more needed than it's needed, then probably the car is gonna slide. So here, just after you pass the 600 meter mark, I wouldn't say it's meter, just the 600 mark, I usually brake, and I tend to go through this section without too much braking, so the car can actually slide a little bit. But the most important thing is to straighten up the car before you accelerate. But here, once again, I use the curb for reference, so as soon as I get to that point, I always know, okay, maybe I can get to that point, I should be applying like 20-30% of the brakes. If you do more, you're gonna slow down the car too much and you're gonna lose a lot of speed, and that's probably the mark. It always depends on the angle, but that was the mark for me where I usually started to accelerate. But just make sure that you're in 4th gear, not 3rd, because in 4th gear the car really doesn't slide that much. Okay, it slides a little bit, but it doesn't slide that much. But here, okay, this is one of the trickiest ones, because you can eventually get kind of an invalidated lap. But here, I just try to get the car in 3rd gear and really be careful on, just on the acceleration. You have to be careful, because the car can eventually oversteer and you can lose the back end and, get a penalty. But here, just a little tap on the brakes. I usually go up to 50% when I started to turn in. This was a little bit more than I needed, but 4th gear is a must. So I was struggling. I was really struggling with this car, just to keep it on the track. But eventually, it's a 13.3, it's a gold, and I do believe this is going to stay in the gold. So if you follow this guide, I can, with 99% accuracy say, yeah, you will get the gold. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this track guide video, and if you did, you can always smash a like button, and you might even want to subscribe to the channel. Kinda. But either way, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.